Hello there mortal gamers, and welcome back to Pure Play TV for another video review, and in this one we're taking a look at Immortals Fenyx Rising for PS5. Though the game is out on PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, Nintendo Switch, PC and Stadia, and we will have another review up soon looking at the Xbox versions, but in this video the focus is on PS5, and all gameplay was captured using a copy of the game provided by Ubisoft. There's something warm and comforting about Immortals Fenyx Rising. Countless times during my playthrough, some parts reminded me of other games, and I mean that as a compliment. I would be halfway through a vault, which is Immortals' version of a dungeon, and there were clear comparisons to Nintendo's Breath of the Wild. Or I would be climbing a statue to scope out my immediate vicinity, and I would be reminded of Assassin's Creed. Even the art style is slightly reminiscent of Fortnite. Rarely does a game come along that pulls so many threads together, while still managing to create a rich and unique experience all of its own. Immortals Fenyx Rising does so, creating a rich game world that begs to be explored, with a tongue-in-cheek sense of humour that means it never feels like it takes itself too seriously. Before we carry on, use your magic powers to like and subscribe, and give the bell a little nudge too, so you're the first to know when we've got new stuff. Cheers my dears! Playing as the titular Phoenix, Immortals Fenyx Rising has you begin the game as a lowly powered mortal, but it wastes no time in sorting you out with a range of gear and powerful abilities. Waking up on a beach and heading off in search of your brother, the game quickly shifts its focus to that of defeating Typhon, a titan from Greek mythology, who has been imprisoned by Zeus millennia before. The game is constantly narrated by Prometheus and Zeus, who are discussing the game's overarching narrative while feeding you further information, such as clues as to what to do next, or filling you in on the mythology and characters that you meet on the way. It's a novel take on world building and lorecraft, but it never really feels intrusive, as it pops up at various intervals while you play, and having an interest in mythology, I was keen to try and spot the various nods and Easter eggs to the various myths that litter the landscape before the game could explicitly point them out. The game's map is huge, which is par for the course for most Ubisoft games these days. Unlike other open world games, much of the landscape can be viewed from the beginning, which only serves to tease you as the areas you have to look forward to exploring. As with most games in this genre, certain areas are cut off, either by having enemies that are way too tough, or places that are just out of reach with your current abilities, but an impressive chunk of the map is available to explore from the get-go. This feeds into one of the core mechanics used in Immortals Fenyx Rising, aptly named Farsight. Farsight is the ability to view things from afar. Catchy, isn't it? Identifying them with R2, which instantly pins their location to the game's map. I found myself using this ability as often as possible to try and identify as much as I could, locking in new areas and places to set off and have a good nosy about. Whenever I got to a new destination, I would go into Farsight mode again, spot some new areas to check out, and then the whole process began once more. If you're anything like me, you will enjoy this constant loop. When it comes to open world games, I rarely stick to the game's main missions. I mean, who does? Instead, I prefer heading off the beaten path, trying to look for as many hidden treasures and secrets as I can. And Immortals Fenyx Rising nails this loop. I was constantly setting off to do one thing before quickly getting distracted by something else. And it is easy to feel overwhelmed, particularly during the game's initial few hours. Handily, there is a pin system which allows you to stick up to 6 custom pins in the map, each a different colour, that is then displayed in the compass visible from the HUD, which makes it easier to stick to one objective or destination. Foregoing a serious art direction, Immortals uses a comic art style that exaggerates proportions and features, which works in the context of the world Ubisoft has created. Bumping into a Minotaur or a Cyclops while off exploring doesn't feel silly or strange, it just works. Using Farsight while stood atop some mountain or statue, I could zoom off into the distance, looking for glows or flashes, which are often the telling signs of some treasures or secrets. And this would be hard to imagine if the world was some photorealistic interpretation. Combat in Immortals Fenyx Rising is simple yet satisfying. Phoenix has a sword, axe and a bow at their disposal, and each one can be used to vanquish the many foes you will face. R1 is your quick attack using the sword, while R2 is your heavy attack with the axe. Both are very satisfying to wield, and mixing them up is the key to success. Every enemy has both a health bar and a stagger bar, and while both attacks drain health, only the axe does much to fill the stagger bar. Stagger an enemy and they become dazed, allowing you to unleash some quick attacks before they recover and come at you again. Okay, such a combat system is not new, but again, it works, so why fix it? Throw in the various abilities that Fenyx can unlock and upgrade, and combat quickly evolves into something lethal and satisfying. Puzzle solving is the third and final piece completing Immortals Fenyx Rising's Triforce. In fact, I would go so far as to say that solving puzzles is pretty much the key mechanic. It would be nigh on impossible to spend half an hour with Immortals and not have to solve one puzzle. It could be something as simple as placing a rock on a switch to open a door, or something a bit more intense, such as the constellation puzzles, where you have to search an area for blue orbs and then place them in a set configuration on the floor. The variety of puzzles in Immortals Fenyx Rising is impressive, all offering a variety of gear and rewards to make them worth your while. One of the game's key puzzles is the dozens of vaults that can be found scattered across the landscape. These glowing red craters can be found using Farsight and, once jumped into, they transport you to a large dungeon that will put your abilities and skills to the test. Each vault is often built around a key ability or skill, mixing up both platforming and problem solving with equal measure. Playing these dungeons is crucial to progress, as each one rewards you with Zeus's lightning, a literal bolt of lightning that can be used to upgrade your stamina. And, as stamina is a vital attribute, used every time you run, climb, swim or fly, completing each vault becomes a key objective, as the more lightning you have means you can upgrade your stamina more, and the more stamina you have means the more you can explore the map, climbing higher or flying further. These vaults are obviously quite heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild, but they say imitation is the highest form of flattery after all. Alongside your stamina, pretty much every other aspect of your character can be upgraded and made stronger. Your weapons and armour, your health, your abilities, all can be upgraded using a variety of items found on your travels, either by collecting them out in the wild or by solving the hundreds of puzzles that can be found in the ruins and hidden away at various points. See something that looks a little bit out of place? Chances are it's some form of puzzle waiting for a solution, and if you haven't already, it is worth using Farsight to have a look around and seeing if there are any chests hidden nearby. This cannot be overstressed, as while some of the puzzles are quite obvious, some can be downright devious to the point that they can easily be overlooked. Immortals Fenyx Rising has been released at the busiest time of the year when it comes to video games, but its mix of exploration, puzzle solving and combat is a joy to play, and its abundance of puzzles and collectibles is sure to keep you busy for days, and that's just the main quests. Taking numerous elements from various games, Immortals combines each one into an experience that feels and plays as something new, yet comfortingly familiar. And let's be honest, after the year we've all had, isn't that something we all need right now? And that's the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you did, then why not go ahead and hit them like and subscribe buttons down below, and give the bell a little tickle while you're at it. And don't forget to check the info box for our socials so you can come and have a chat with us, and check out our websites so you can read what we write. Anything else I need to plug? I've got an OnlyFans if anyone is interested. I don't, not yet. But we are thinking about a Pure Play TV OnlyFans. Gotta make them pennies somehow, right? I've been Chris, this outro got weird fast, and I will be sticking to the script in future. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, take care. Bye.